Every day starts with a morning, but not every morning starts gently. For years, mine began in a rush. The buzzing phone, the long list of things to do, the feeling that I was already behind before I even got out of bed. It's strange how a day can feel heavy before it even begins. One morning, though, something changed. I sat at the table with a warm cup of coffee, the house still quiet, the sun just beginning to brighten the edges of the curtain, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't reach for my phone. I just breathed. I noticed the warmth of the mug, the softness of the light, the steady rhythm of my own heartbeat. It was simple, but it felt like peace. Since then, I've learned that a calm morning doesn't just happen. We create it. And the beautiful thing is, it's never too late. Whether you're 40 or 70, whether life feels noisy or overwhelming, a peaceful morning routine can bring back something many of us have lost: clarity, balance, and a sense of real happiness. You don't need anything fancy, just a few quiet minutes to be present with yourself. Because when the morning begins with peace, the whole day follows a different path. For many of us in our 40s, 50s, or 60s, life feels like it's picked up a speed we never agreed to. We wake up already tired, our minds crowded with worries before our feet even touch the floor. The world keeps asking for more energy, more time, more attention. And somewhere along the way, we forget that we're allowed to slow down. We forget that mornings can be more than a scramble to start the day. They can be a sanctuary. I remember a morning not too long ago when everything felt heavy. The house was quiet, but my thoughts were loud. Bills, appointments, family needs, unfinished tasks. Instead of rushing, I sat at the edge of the bed and simply breathed. The room was still dim, the kind of gentle light that feels like a whisper. And in that quiet, something softened. I realized I didn't need to conquer the whole day at once. I just needed to begin differently. A peaceful morning doesn't require perfection or big changes. It begins with small, nourishing steps, opening the curtains and letting warm light in, sipping a cup of tea slowly enough to taste it, stretching your body the way it's been asking you to, or simply standing by the window and watching the world wake up. These tiny acts of presence remind us that life isn't only made of responsibilities, it's made of moments. When we choose a calmer morning, we aren't just changing a routine, we're choosing ourselves. We're giving our minds space to reset, our hearts room to steady, and our bodies a gentler way to begin. And sometimes that's all we truly need to feel whole again. I used to wake up the same way every morning, fast. The alarm would ring, and before my mind even caught up, my feet were already on the floor, my thoughts racing ahead of me. Tasks, appointments, bills, worries, all flooding in before the day had even begun. It felt normal, almost necessary to rush. But over time, that rush became the very thing that wore me down. It stole the quiet from my mornings and the calm from my heart. Then one day, without planning to, I stayed in bed for just a moment longer. I didn't reach for my phone. I didn't run through a checklist. I simply lay there, eyes still soft, letting the morning meet me instead of chasing it. I stretched my fingers, rolled my shoulders, felt my breath settle into its own gentle rhythm. And something shifted. It was small, almost unnoticeable, but real. My body loosened, my mind softened. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe.
I learned that a calm morning doesn't start with a perfect routine. It begins the moment you open your eyes and choose not to rush yourself back into the world's noise. Giving yourself just 2 quiet minutes tells your nervous system, you're okay. There's no race to run today. And surprisingly, those 2 minutes echo through the entire day. Conversations feel lighter, problems feel more manageable. Even the busy moments don't feel as sharp or overwhelming. As we grow older, we realize peace isn't found in big changes. It's in small, gentle choices. The choice to wake up slowly, to breathe before moving, to return to yourself before returning to the world. Maybe that's all a calm life really is. A collection of slow mornings, one breath at a time.
I didn't realize how much I depended on the sun until one morning, not long ago, when I shuffled into the kitchen feeling heavy and tired. The kind of tired that coffee can't fix. Out of habit, I reached for the switch to turn on the lights, but my hand stopped halfway. Something inside me whispered, "Open the curtains instead." So I did. And just like that, the room changed. Warm, gentle morning light spilled across the floor, touching everything with this quiet kind of hope. I stood there for a moment, letting it reach my face, my eyes, my breathing. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't solve all my problems, but it softened something inside me. The same way a kind word can soften a long, weary day. As we grow older, our bodies pay more attention to light than we think. Natural light tells the brain, "Wake up, you're alive. This is a new day." It boosts our mood, helps us sleep better at night, and gives us a kind of energy that no cup of coffee can imitate. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't require effort. No exercise routine, no big life change, just 30 quiet seconds with the sun. Now, every morning, before the world rushes in with its noise and demands, I open the curtains. Sometimes I step outside, even if only onto the porch, and let the sun greet me. It's become a small ritual, a reminder that peace often arrives in the simplest moments. And maybe that's something we all need now. Not more speed, not more doing, but more light. More moments of standing still, letting the day touch us before we run into it. There's a certain kind of quiet that only arrives when you're holding a warm cup in your hands. I didn't understand that for most of my life. Mornings used to be a blur. Coffee gulped down while answering emails, news playing in the background, my mind already 3 steps ahead. But as the years passed, and the pace of the world kept speeding up, I found myself craving just one moment that felt like mine. One moment where nothing needed to be solved, fixed, or achieved. It started by accident. One winter morning, I woke up earlier than usual. The house was still. The sky still soft and gray. I made a simple cup of tea and sat down without turning on any lights or screens. I wrapped both hands around the mug and felt the warmth settle into my palms, then into my chest. Nothing extraordinary happened, and yet something shifted. For the first time in a long while, I felt present, fully here, fully alive. Since then, I've made that tiny ritual a part of my life. Whether it's tea, coffee, or just warm water with lemon, I slow down long enough to feel it. I hold the cup. I breathe. I let the warmth remind me that peace doesn't always come from grand moments. Sometimes it's born from the smallest ones. A warm drink in a quiet room can be the calmest moment of your entire day. No noise, no rushing, no expectations, just you, your breath, and the gentle reminder that life doesn't have to be complicated to be meaningful. Maybe that's all many of us are searching for now. Not a new beginning, Not a perfect plan, but a simple pause. A moment to feel grounded again. A moment to come home to ourselves. I used to think that taking care of myself meant pushing hard, long workouts, strict routines, doing more than my body really wanted. But as the years passed, I started to realize something simple. My body didn't need intensity. It needed kindness. It needed movement that felt like a warm invitation, not a demand. One morning, just after sunrise, I stepped onto the porch. The air was cool, the world still half asleep. Instead of forcing myself into a tough exercise routine, I tried something different. Just 5 minutes of gentle stretching. My shoulders loosened, my back softened, and for the first time in a long time, I felt my body say, "Thank you." The next day, I took a slow, mindful walk. No phone, no pace to keep, just the sound of gravel under my feet and the rhythm of my breath. And on another morning, I simply stood by the window, moving my arms in soft circles as I breathed in deeply. Somehow those tiny moments felt more healing than any intense workout ever had. What I've learned is that gentle movement wakes the body in a way that feels natural, comforting. It eases the stiffness that comes with age. It supports the joints that have carried us through so many seasons. And most of all, it lifts the mood in a quiet, steady way that stays with you throughout the day. You don't need to push yourself to feel alive. Sometimes the softest motions, a stretch, a slow walk, a breath paired with a gentle gesture, are what bring you back to yourself. Peace doesn't always arrive with big changes. Often, it begins in the slow, caring way we choose to move each morning. Most of my life, I woke up and walked straight into the world before I even took my first real breath. The phone lit up, the news ran loud, emails spilled in, and suddenly my day belonged to everyone but me. It's strange how quickly we hand over our peace without even noticing, how easily we let the world set the tone for a day we haven't begun living yet. But a few years ago, something shifted. One morning, before reaching for my phone, I just paused. I sat at the edge of the bed, feeling the warmth of the blanket, the softness of the morning light slipping through the curtains. No email, no headlines, no voices telling me what I should worry about. For the first time in a long while, the day started with me, my breath, my thoughts, my quiet. That small choice changed everything. I began giving myself the first 10 minutes of every morning. 10 minutes without noise, without scrolling, without the weight of the world pushing its way into my mind. Sometimes I just breathe. Sometimes I make tea and listen to the hum of the house waking up. Sometimes I sit on the porch and watch the sky soften into color. Those simple minutes, gentle, unhurried, honest, shape the next 12 hours more than any productivity trick ever could. They steady my emotions, soften my pace, and remind me that I get to choose how I enter the day. And maybe that's something we all need, especially now in a world that moves faster than our hearts can follow. A quiet moment to return to ourselves before we step into everything else. A moment that says, start here, start gently, start with you. There was a time when my mornings felt like a sprint the moment my feet touched the floor. I'd grab my phone, glance at the long to-do list waiting for me, and feel that familiar tightness in my chest, the pressure to keep up, to stay productive, to move faster than my own life. But one day, sitting at the kitchen table, with a warm cup of coffee and the sun barely rising, I realized something. I didn't need a longer list. I needed a clearer intention. So I started small. Instead of planning 10 things, I chose 1. Today, I will be patient. Today, I will move slowly. Today, I will breathe before reacting. Simple words, almost too simple, but they shifted everything. That single intention became like a quiet compass in my pocket. Whenever the day began to speed up, whenever someone's tone felt sharp, whenever unexpected problems showed up, I went back to that intention, like touching a steady hand on my shoulder. And you know what? The day softened. Not because life got easier, but because I showed up differently, with presence, with calm, with space around my thoughts. I think many of us, especially in these busy years of life, forget that peace isn't built from doing more. It's built from doing what matters with a steady heart. One intention can guide an entire day toward gentleness, toward clarity, toward the kind of quiet we've been missing. You don't need to conquer the whole world this morning. Just choose the way you want to walk through it, and let that intention lead you back to peace again and again.
Some mornings, I used to wake up already feeling behind, like the day expected something from me before I even set my feet on the floor. I'd rush through the motions, quick shower, quick breakfast, quick thoughts. Everything felt like a race, and somehow the finish line kept moving farther away. But one day, I realized something simple, almost embarrassingly simple. My morning didn't need to impress anyone. It didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be mine. So I started small. I began opening the curtains a little earlier, letting the sunlight wander across the room before the world fully woke. I made a cup of warm tea and held it with both hands, feeling the heat slowly reach my fingertips. Sometimes I stretched for a minute or two. Sometimes I just breathed. No pressure, no performance, just presence. What surprised me most wasn't how peaceful those moments felt. It was how those small choices shaped the rest of my day. When my morning was calm, my heart followed. I was kinder, softer, less hurried. The world didn't feel like something to fight against anymore. It felt like something I could move through with steadiness and intention. I think somewhere in our busy lives, we forget that transformation doesn't always come from big decisions or dramatic changes. Sometimes it comes from the gentlest routines: sunlight on the wall, warm tea in your hands, a quiet promise to yourself that today you will move with grace instead of rush. A calm morning won't fix everything, but it can anchor you. It can remind you that peace isn't found in perfection. It's found in the small, steady ways you choose to take care of your heart.
There comes a moment in life, often somewhere in our 40s, 50s, or 70s, when we realize that the world has been asking too much of us for too long. The noise, the pressure, the constant rushing, it slowly pulls us away from the things that once made us feel whole. And then, out of nowhere, a quiet morning arrives. A soft beam of sunlight on the kitchen table, a warm cup between your hands, a breath that finally feels like it reaches your heart. Sometimes that's all it takes to remember that peace was never gone. We were just too overwhelmed to notice it. If this video gave you even a small moment of calm, I want you to know that you're not alone. There is a place where slowing down is welcomed, where simple living is enough, and where your well-being truly matters. Here at Simple Earth Studio, we build that peaceful space together. One gentle story, one mindful habit, one quiet morning at a time.
If you'd like to keep walking this path toward balance and clarity, click subscribe and join our community. Your peaceful life begins with one calm morning, and that morning can start today.